If you want to get started as a real estate investor here now in 2022, these are the 7 steps I would use in Canada to get started today. Hey guys, Andrew here showing you how to get into real estate investing here in Canada. Starting with step 1, we're going to go into picking your exit strategy. A little bit different. You might not have thought that was number 1, but you have to have an idea of where you want to get to and how you want to cash out of this thing at the end of your investment to kind of backtrack and then kind of work your way backwards from the end. And you're not going to start the day one at the beginning, you're going to start at the end and then work backwards to that. So if your goal is to cash out and kind of sell the house and take the cash and go, if your goal is to kind of build up a portfolio of like hundreds of properties, if your portfolio is having have like 2 or 3 properties, just hold that for life and pass it on to your kids. You have to know that stuff. So figure out that end goal first, have the exit strategy mapped up, and then you'll be able to kind of invest along the way with a plan working towards that end goal. After you have your exit strategy kind of mapped out, step number 2 to me would be going to a mortgage broker and kind of figuring out what you can afford as a property, getting a pre-approval in place. And that just means that you're approved for a certain amount of a mortgage on the property and you know exactly how much of a property you can actually afford. And then you can go and then figure out where you want to buy based on how much you can afford with your mortgage broker. If you get a pre-approval with your mortgage broker, you're working with your bank, whoever it may be, wherever your lender is, when you know your numbers and it's based on your income and your debt ratios, you can confidently go ahead and offer on properties without the kind of the fog around your head of like, well, I have enough money, I'll have enough money to kind of close on this property. You'll know you have the pre-approval locked in, your interest rate will be locked, and you know where your payments would be based on different scenarios you've run with your mortgage professional or your lender, wherever it may be. Step number 3 would be to actually get your down payment together, have an idea of where that money is going to come from. If you're getting into the market for the first time, you don't own your own home, it's going to be an accumulation of probably savings. Maybe the bank of mom and dad can chip in. Maybe you have a girlfriend, a wife, or a husband, and you're going to pull the funds together to kind of make that happen and get that down payment. In Canada, if you're moving into the property, maybe you're going to house hack it and rent out some rooms, you can put down about 5% on the purchase price if it is your permanent residence. If it's not your like permanent principal residence, then you're gonna have to put down 20% as a straight rental property. So just understand those kind of things before you go and offer on houses. But your mortgage professional or realtor should help you with that kind of calculation. But if you have your down payment together, you're moving on to step number 4, which is picking your area. You want to have an idea of what area you want to invest in. And a lot of people, when they start as a real estate investor, they're going to get started with property number 1. They want to just invest somewhere close to them because number 1, they know about the area, they live in it, they breathe in it every single day. They know the good areas, the bad areas. Maybe you can relate right now to kind of areas in your town there. Let me know in the comments like where you're from, where you're thinking about investing right now. But you want to understand your market and kind of where the good areas, where the good pockets are, and have a good location in mind. If you can't do it right where you are, you might want to work with a realtor and find an area near you that's not too far away, because then you can kind of run it back and forth. It's not going to take you forever to go and see the properties as well. And just kind of getting one close to home is a good place to start, in my opinion. That's what I did as an investor. I started in my backyard in the hometown where I grew up and kind of expanded out from there. Step number 5 is actually working with an actual professional realtor. And the reason for this is because when you go and do this yourself, you're just not as well equipped, especially as a first-time investor, to kind of look at the pitfalls and the scenarios that you might open yourself up to if you buy a house with a leaky basement or with big repairs coming down the pipe you cannot see in the walkthrough by yourself. A realtor is a professional. They've seen hundreds of houses. This is their profession. This is what they're born and bred to do, is just kind of walk you through the process, submit the offer on your behalf, give you things to think about the property. And there are lots of real estate agents that do it very well. There are some that do it okay, and there are a lot that do it very poorly. So let's make sure to kind of find a real estate agent you trust that has a good reputation in your area, and maybe one that's actually investing in real estate themselves is a good kind of marker. Like ask them, hey, do you have a rental property yourself? If they don't, maybe not the realtor for you, because as an investor, you want people doing what you're doing that are steps further ahead on the ladder as you are. So if you can find a realtor that's also a real estate investor, that's a win-win because their interests are aligned. They have experience to draw on that can transfer right to you directly, and then they can kind of lead you down the path that they went through as well with kind of extra information, tidbits, and how they invest in properties as well. So step number 6, you're going to have to clean up and get the property ready after you have one secured. So assuming that your mortgage financing was good and your down payment was good and your realtor found you a really steal of a property, you're going to put an offer, it's going to be accepted. First time, hopefully. If not, just keep on looking through properties. You'll find the one. If you put in enough offers, you'll get the one you want. So assuming you have one under contract, you need to get the property ready for your tenants. So before you actually fill the property, you want to do all the little kind of cosmetic stuff, kind of touch up the paint. If there's kind of baseboards that are loose, anything that's around the property that needs updating, maybe the landscaping could use a little bit of a freshening up. And you want to put in that kind of work, clean the property, make it look spick and span, because when you do that, you can charge more rent because it is a higher value item. Then you can go ahead and go on to step 7, and that is filling your property with tenants. For this step, you want to, number 1, identify and understand the Landlord and Tenant Act in Ontario or in different provinces around Canada. You want to understand what you can and cannot do. You want to understand where the actual lease agreement comes from. If you're working with a realtor that is also an investor, they should be able to point you to these different things. They're all available online. All the forms you need to use are online, especially for Ontario. And once you have this kind of idea, you have to create an application for your tenants. You have to put a little post together for the property. You have to take some nice pictures and kind of put all this together, put it on Kijiji, put it on Facebook, put it on Craigslist, wherever it is, market it, and then actually have people come through and see it, fall in love with it, create that emotional attachment with your property that you are owning, and they'll pay you X number of rent each month, which you're also going to kind of do a little bit of market research on just to see how much rent you can actually afford to charge for your property. Your realtor can help you with that as well. They should know market rents in the area. Once you fill your property with those tenants, you're going to have a great cash flowing real estate investment. You're going to have something that's giving you kind of value every single month. Someone's paying down your mortgage for you as well. And at the end of the day, you have this wonderful kind of portfolio. Started property number 1 here in Canada as a beginner, 7 easy steps. I'm Andrew Ferguson. If you got some value in this video today, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Keep checking out other ones in the channel. If you want to understand how I got started in real estate, my journey, what started all for me, make sure you guys check out this video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.